Welcome back to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth online, zinniawealth.com, ZINNIA wealth.com. So, Charisse, it's crazy that I'm already talking about this, but here we are mid-September, and we are about a month away from the Medicare window opening up. Mm-hmm. And this is a time when you will take a look at what you're using and say, is this still good for me, or has my health changed, my prescriptions changed? Do I need to shop around a little bit? I can tell you this, that there's word out there because of the big, beautiful bill and a lot of different politics that Medicare premiums could possibly go up, and there's a good chance that the drug part of it, Part D, could go up substantially, maybe as much as $50 a month. So this is going to get people's attention. And they're going to say, okay, Charisse talks about Advantage plans. She talks about supplemental plans. She talks about Medicare and shop it around. So what can you tell people? What are they in for, and how can you help?
'Tis the season to be shopping, and Medicare season is upon us. October 15th is when you can start changing your plans. December 7th is when you cannot do that again. So what's happening in the Medicare world is that there's going to be higher costs to the average individual, where you have a Medicare supplement where you pay a premium. You get to go wherever you want as long as it's medically necessary, versus the Medicare Advantage plan where it's an HMO or PPO. You got to follow a network of doctors. Most of them don't have premiums and copays are pretty low, but that's going to change. I think we're going to see a lot of people moving over to the Medicare supplement because Advantage plans, we're going to see more premiums on Advantage plans. We're going to see higher copays. And I think this has to happen. We don't have the exact numbers yet, but anybody who has a Medicare Advantage plan, you need to double check with your plan. You want to make sure you're going to stay with that plan, number one, because if the premium goes up and the copays are really get jacked up high inside of it, you might need a shot for another plan. Or if the cost gets so high, it might be better to go to a Medicare supplement. And I straightforward prefer a Medicare supplement over any Advantage plan. I had for years offered Medicare Advantage plans to my clients. You have to jump through hoops. You can't go where you want to go. If your doctor leaves the group and you want to keep seeing that doctor, you can't. You have to go find a new doctor. So the other advice I give is, as you're looking for different Advantage plans and making sure maybe the one you're in is still working for you, call your doctors. Do not read those books. Those books are BS. You need to call your doctor and say, hey, Mr. Doctor, Mrs. Doctor, are you going to stay on this plan? And they're going to say yes or no. And I almost bet nearly half of them say no. This was annoying when I used to offer these plans, and it's just not worth it. So if you can afford to pay, to play, to have freedom of choice, 1,000%, I recommend the Medicare supplement. And most retirees can afford that. When you look at the overall costs and the copays and the deductibles in a Medicare Advantage plan, you might as well go with a supplement. And, if you want to go to Mayo Clinic, you can't go to Mayo Clinic. You want to go to certain hospitals, you can't do those on a Medicare Advantage plan. So I'm a big fan of the Medicare supplement. We offer them here. If you want a Medicare Advantage plan like Blue Cross Blue Shield, we have ladies that will do that for you. If you want PPO with an HMO with ARP, we have people that we can refer out to you. But again, you pay for what you get. And, this is just Medicare season upon us, and a lot of changes are going to be taking place. But remember, tune in throughout October in our show, because we're going to be breaking down Medicare a little bit more. And as we get more data, what is changing, we're going to be sharing that with you. But remember, Medicare, here's some basic stuff. Medicare A, B, C, and D. Medicare Part A is the hospital visits, and you pay that premium through all your FICA taxes, so you don't have to pay for that, but there are deductibles when you go to the hospital. Medicare Part B, you're going to have a monthly premium. It's going to go up a little bit, not a whole lot. I don't imagine it going down because I already heard it's supposed to be going up, and you got to pay that every month. And that's your doctor's visits, your labs, your outpatient services and surgery. And in Medicare Part D is your prescription drugs. So prescription drugs are going up. And so if you're used to paying $25 a month for a prescription drug plan, it's probably going to $50. Or if you have a $50 plan, it's probably going to $75. So costs are going up on your end. So we want to make sure we're shopping the formularies and your drugs are in those plans. So that's going to be key. And remember, Medicare Part C, That is the Medicare Advantage plans. Those are your HMOs, the PPOs, those ones that give you the free gyms and the extra over-the-counter stuff. Sometimes it's not worth it. 99% of the time, I am not a fan of those, but they're out there and you don't have to pay a premium. But like I said earlier, you might be paying a premium here soon or a higher cost. So you need to really evaluate if the Medicare supplement's better for you or the Advantage plan.
Well, one of the things that I have enjoyed over the years that you and I have done this show, and I think you're so good at talking about Medicare. So many people are not. They just leave that to somebody else because you've lived in this area. And when you come in, and I talk about changes in your retirement, sometimes changes can be, hey, we found this great timeshare and we want to grab that, and can I afford to do that? Or something happened in our life that our child is going to run and come back and live with us. Those are changes. But there's also changes in you and your prescriptions. There's changes in your own health. You get a diagnosis and all of a sudden you start using your Medicare that you have right now and it's not covering the way you think it should. And Charisse, that's some of the conversation that you have and say, okay, let's tailor your Medicare and your health care to what's going on in your life right now.
It is important when you are in a season of life of prepping for retirement and or in retirement, you have the right advisor for the season of life. You don't need a stock jock in retirement. You need a retirement planner. You need that retirement planner to prep you before you retire. The retirement planner walks you through all these steps on Social Security. What are the taxes? Medicare, what kind of plans, investment planning, income planning, because it's about income now, not just growth, because now we're living on our money. Investment planning, how much risk should we have? Tax planning, to me, that's number one. You cannot have an investment plan or a retirement plan without a tax plan. Because you can just erode your monies to you and your spouse and then your kids if you don't have a tax plan, because you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we have the long-term care plan. Most people don't need to buy a long-term care policy. There's other things out there you can use, and or some people can just self-pay. You need to know that stuff. A stock jock's not going to be able to share that with you, right? They're going to put you in a 60-40 portfolio and say, c'est la vie, good luck, take your money. And they're going to collect the dough because they get a fee. Last but not least, the estate plan. Wills, trusts, power of attorneys, healthcare surrogates, DNRs. If you don't have a DNR, shame on you. Do not let your children decide to pull the plug. You decide ahead of time. So there's so many things we have to align with, get set up, because it is a retirement maze and it is a puzzle. So the right planner for the right season of life, and you pay for what you get. So make sure if you have an advisor that's going to charge you 1% and just put you in a 60-40 portfolio and offer you nothing else, is it really worth it? Or you find the advisory firm that's going to charge you 1% and give you the whole kit and caboodle, and you get tax planning for free. You get Medicare planning for free. You get everything. You get a lot of knowledge. So when you are looking for advisors, make sure you understand who you're looking for, why you're looking for them, and don't pick somebody who's this tall, dark, and handsome, sounds good, looks good, and smells good.
Well, what we would love to do is have the conversation with you about your retirement and go to a retirement planner to do just that. That is Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Find us online, zinniawealth.com, ZINNIA wealth.com. Give us a call, 833-368-3680. Again, 833-368-3680.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 833-368-3680 or find us online at zinniawealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Charisse Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and/or categories usually do not deduct transaction and/or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.